Have you ever stepped into the bathroom or leaned in to hug someone you love, maybe your spouse, maybe even yourself, and caught a smell you couldn't quite place? Not bad exactly, just different. A little musty, a little sour, like something's been left out too long. And maybe, just for a second, you thought, I guess this is what getting older smells like. But then you brushed it off. You put on a little extra deodorant, changed your laundry detergent, maybe even blamed the dog. But let me ask you something. What if that smell isn't just a normal part of aging? What if it's your body's quiet way of waving a red flag, asking for help? Because here's the truth no one really talks about. After 60, your body starts changing in ways you can't always see, but you can sometimes smell it, long before a test result ever picks it up. And sometimes that smell, it's not just a smell, it's a message from your skin, your liver, your kidneys, even your blood sugar. It could be trying to tell you, hey, something's off in here. And I get it. It's not a fun topic. Nobody wants to talk about body odor or strange smells. It's embarrassing. It's awkward. But ignoring it, that can be dangerous because certain body smells can be early warning signs of serious health issues. So today, we're breaking the silence, not to scare you, but to prepare you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 smells that people over 60 should never ignore. And more importantly, the 5 things you need to do immediately if you notice them on yourself or someone you love. Some of these may surprise you. Some may even feel a little uncomfortable to hear. But each one is a chance to catch something early, a chance to protect your independence, a chance to keep living fully the way you deserve to. So before we dive in, I want you to do 2 quick things. First, drop a comment below that says, I'm here if you're ready to take charge of your health after 60. And second, hit that subscribe button. Here at Flourish After 60, we're not just talking about aging. We're talking about thriving, with dignity, with strength, with knowledge. Now, let's talk about that smell and what it could really mean. Let's get started. Talk 1. That old person smell. It's not just aging. Now let's start with the one most people know by name. But few people truly understand that old person smell. You've probably noticed it before, maybe on an elderly relative's sweater, maybe in their home, or maybe recently even on yourself. It's a faint, musty odor, almost like worn paper or a closet that hasn't been opened in a while. It's so common, most people just assume it's part of aging. But here's the truth, that smell has a name, and it has a cause. It's called 2-none-enol, a compound that forms when fatty acids on your skin break down due to oxidation. And this process ramps up as you age, particularly after 60. Why? Because your body starts producing less natural oil. Your hormones shift. Your cell turnover slows down. It's not your imagination, it's chemistry. But here's the part that might surprise you. While 2-none-enol is considered a natural part of aging, an unusually strong or persistent smell may be more than just a byproduct of time. It could be a subtle signal that your body is under oxidative stress, meaning your cells are struggling to fight off damage from toxins, poor diet, or chronic inflammation. Or worse, it could point to a sluggish liver, the organ responsible for detoxifying your entire body. When the liver isn't working efficiently, it can release compounds that exit through your skin, and they don't always smell pleasant. But most people don't know that. They think it's just old age. They spray more perfume, wash more often, use stronger soap. But if the smell keeps coming back, it's not about being clean. It's about being aware. So what can you do? Start with your skin routine. Use a mild, non-drying cleanser and exfoliate gently a couple of times a week. Nothing harsh. just enough to help your skin renew itself. Switch to a fragrance-free moisturizer with natural antioxidants like vitamin E. Your skin doesn't need fancy, it needs support. But just as important, pay attention to what's going in your body. Add more antioxidant-rich foods to your meals. We're talking blueberries, spinach, walnuts, green tea. These help your cells fight oxidative damage from the inside out. And don't forget to stay hydrated. Water helps flush out toxins, and sometimes that's all your body's really asking for. Now, does this mean you should panic every time you smell something strange? Of course not. But if that musty scent starts showing up consistently, especially if it's new or stronger than usual, don't ignore it. It's a whisper from your body, one worth listening to. But what if the smell isn't musty? What if it's sweet or almost like nail polish remover? That's when we need to talk about something far more urgent. The smell that starts in your breath, but goes much deeper than your mouth. 2. Fruity or acetone-like breath, blood sugar danger. Let me tell you about Richard. He's 72, lively, sharp-witted, always the one cracking jokes at family dinners. But one evening, after a Sunday roast with his grandkids around the table, his daughter leaned in for a goodbye hug and paused. She smelled something odd on his breath. Not bad exactly, just off. Faintly sweet, like overripe fruit, but also chemical, kind of like nail polish remover. "Dad," she said, half laughing, "you been chewing on markers or something?" Richard chuckled too, thought nothing of it. But 2 weeks later, he was in the ER with dangerously high blood sugar. That odd breath, it wasn't nothing. It was a warning. If you ever smell a fruity or acetone-like odor on your own breath or someone else's, don't ignore it. Because it could mean your body is producing ketones at an unhealthy rate. Here's what's going on. When your cells aren't getting enough glucose, usually because insulin isn't doing its job, your body switches into emergency mode. It starts burning fat for energy. Sounds good, right? Burn fat, lose weight? Not quite. This rapid breakdown releases ketones into the bloodstream, chemicals that build up fast, and when too many are present, they cause a condition called ketoacidosis. It makes your breath smell sweet, yes, but not in a good way. In fact, it's a sign your blood has become acidic, which can damage organs if not treated quickly. Now, this is more common in people with type 1 diabetes, but it also happens in poorly managed type 2 diabetes, which affects a large number of people over 60, often without them even knowing it. But here's the issue. Most folks don't connect the dots. They assume it's because of garlic, or maybe they skipped brushing. They pop a mint, swish with mouthwash, and move on. But no mouthwash on earth can cover what's happening in your bloodstream. So what should you do if you notice this kind of breath? First, test your blood sugar immediately, even if you've never been diagnosed with diabetes. You can find affordable glucometers at most pharmacies. Next, look at your diet. Focus on low glycemic foods, things that won't spike your sugar. Think leafy greens, lentils, oats, and lean proteins. Cut back on refined carbs, sugary drinks, and processed snacks. Hydration matters too. Drink plenty of water. It helps flush out excess ketones and supports your kidneys. Then finally, follow up with your doctor. Even if it passes, even if you feel fine. This is not the kind of sign you ignore, because that smell, that strange, sweet scent, it's your body whispering, "I need help." And speaking of smells that should make you pay attention, what if it's not sweet at all? What if it's fishy? Especially on the skin, that could be pointing to something completely different. A silent condition many don't catch until it's far too late. Kidney trouble. 3. Ammonia or fishy odor. Watch the kidneys. Let me tell you about Ella. She was 72, a widow, graceful, well-kept, the kind of woman who always had her hair brushed and her blouse pressed, even if she was just going to the corner store. But one day she started noticing something off. A faint, fishy scent that seemed to linger around her skin. She'd just gotten back from church, and as she reached to hug a friend, she caught it. It wasn't coming from anyone else. It was her. She showered twice that day, changed her clothes, switched soaps, bought new detergent. Still, the smell stayed. Subtle, but constant. Ella felt embarrassed. She told no one. She assumed it was poor hygiene, maybe even a side effect of aging. But she was wrong. What she didn't realize was that her kidneys were trying to send her a message, and they were using scent to do it. You see, when your kidneys are working well, they act like a filter. They clean your blood, remove waste, and flush toxins out through your urine. But when those kidneys slow down or start to fail, even just a little, that waste, it doesn't leave your body like it's supposed to. Instead, it starts to build up. And one of the first signs, a fishy or ammonia-like smell coming from your sweat or skin. It may even show up in your breath. That scent you're picking up isn't dirt, it's urea, a waste product your body's trying to get rid of. When it lingers in the bloodstream, it finds its way out through your pores, and no amount of scrubbing will fix that. Now, this is where many people get confused. They think it's from something they ate, or maybe they forgot deodorant. They blame the laundry or the heat. But if you've tried all those things, and the smell still sticks around, it's time to look deeper, especially if that odor comes with other small signs like puffy ankles, feeling tired all the time, itchy skin, or needing to use the bathroom more or less than usual. So what can you do? First, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Your kidneys love water. It helps flush out toxins and gives those hard-working organs a break. Next, cut down on salt and processed foods. They force your kidneys to work overtime and increase fluid retention. Also, avoid excessive protein, especially from red meats, unless your doctor says otherwise. Too much protein can strain compromised kidneys. And most importantly, get a renal function test. It's a simple blood and urine test your doctor can order, and it gives you a clear picture of how well your kidneys are doing. Ella finally went in for hers and caught stage 2 kidney disease. Early enough to manage, early enough to protect her health, but only because she listened to the smell that wouldn't go away. Now, what if the smell isn't fishy at all? What if it's sharp, a little sour, almost like vinegar or fermenting fruit? That's not your imagination either. Let's talk about what it might mean, especially if it's coming from your body, even right after a shower. 4. Sour or vinegar-like odor could be an infection. Joan was always on top of her hygiene. Even at 74, she never missed her morning shower. She used mild soap, dabbed on powder, and wore fresh cotton every day. But lately she noticed something strange. A sharp, sour smell, kind of like vinegar, coming from under her arms. At first, she chalked it up to maybe sweating more, or maybe something she ate. She even tried switching deodorants, then her laundry detergent. She showered twice some days. Still, the smell stayed. It wasn't overpowering, but it was stubborn. It clung to her clothes. It clung to her. Weeks went by before she finally told her daughter, and that's when she ended up at the doctor. What they found? A hidden fungal infection under the skin, one she never saw coming. This happens more often than people think. As we get older, our skin thins, our sweat changes, and our immune system slows down. We're more prone to infections, especially in warm, moist areas like under the arms, beneath the breasts, around the groin, and even between skin folds. And those infections, they don't always hurt. They don't always itch, but they do smell. often sharp, sour, or fermented. What causes it? The culprits are usually bacteria or yeast. They thrive in moisture, feed on sweat and dead skin, and when they grow too much, they release foul-smelling byproducts. Now here's the part that throws people off. We often assume it's just sweat, or something we ate, or maybe our age. But if you're noticing this sour odor and it doesn't go away, even after bathing, it's probably not your soap. It's probably not your diet. It might be your body asking for a little extra help. So what should you do? First, keep the affected areas clean, and more importantly, dry. Pat dry with a soft towel after showering. Don't rub. That can irritate the skin further. Second, wear breathable fabrics. Cotton is your best friend. Avoid synthetic blends that trap moisture and heat. Third, consider using antifungal powders, but go gentle. Stick to products made for sensitive or mature skin. If you're unsure, ask your pharmacist or doctor for recommendations. And if the odor lingers, if it gets worse or you notice redness, peeling, or discomfort, please see your doctor. Sometimes it's a simple fix, but left untreated, these infections can spread or point to other underlying issues like diabetes, poor circulation, or immune suppression. Joan's doctor caught hers early. A prescription cream and a few changes to her routine, and the smell was gone within weeks. But she would have never known if she hadn't trusted what her nose was telling her. Now, let's talk about something much more serious. What if the smell isn't sour, or fishy, or fruity, but instead smells like something is rotting? It might sound dramatic, but that particular scent, it's one of the most critical signs you should never, ever ignore. 5. Rotten or decaying smell, underlying disease. Alert. George was 76 when it started. He noticed a foul smell, something sharp, sour, almost rotting, coming from his leg. He checked, found a small sore near his ankle. It looked a little red, a little wet. He figured it was nothing. Maybe a scrape he hadn't noticed. He cleaned it with warm water, wrapped it with a bandage, and moved on. But a few days later, the smell was stronger. The sore hadn't healed. In fact, it had turned darker around the edges, and the skin around it was warm to the touch. Still, George waited, because like so many others, he felt embarrassed, ashamed even. He didn't want to worry his kids. He didn't want to go to the doctor just for a smell. But by the time he did go, that small sore had become something far more serious. An infected ulcer, deep and spreading. And it all started with that one distinct scent. Now listen closely. If you ever notice a foul, rotting, or decaying smell coming from any part of your body, especially your feet, legs, or any wound, you must not ignore it. Because that smell, it could mean that tissue is dying. This is often caused by poor circulation, diabetic neuropathy, or even necrosis, when cells begin to die because they're not getting enough blood or oxygen. It's more common in folks with diabetes, vascular issues, or weakened immune systems. And yes, it can develop quietly, under a bandage, under a sock, or on the sole of a foot you can't see without help. Let me be clear, this isn't just about a bad smell. This is about infection, inflammation, and in some cases, life-threatening sepsis. That odor is the body's distress signal. But here's what's heartbreaking. So many seniors downplay it. They tell themselves they're being dramatic. They feel embarrassed about how it smells. Or they're afraid of what the doctor might say. So they suffer in silence when the wound worsens. Let's end that right now. If you or someone you love notices a foul odor, especially coming from a sore that won't heal, don't wait. Check the feet, check the legs, even between the toes. Look for signs like a wound that's dark or discolored, a sore that leaks fluid or blood. skin that feels unusually warm or swollen, or any area that's painful to the touch or numb, and most importantly, get medical attention immediately. Wounds like these need professional care, not home remedies, not guesswork. George, he was lucky. He got help just in time. His doctors treated the infection, adjusted his diabetes medication, and showed him how to care for his skin better going forward. But many aren't so fortunate, so if you smell something that seems off, especially something foul or rotten, don't brush it off. Trust your body. It's speaking to you, even when words fail. Now, I know that was a lot, and it can feel overwhelming to think about all these different smells, all these possible warning signs. So, let's take a breath together and talk about what all of this really means, not just medically, but emotionally, because caring for yourself after 60 is more than just reacting to symptoms. It's about feeling empowered, prepared, and not alone. I know, talking about smells, especially those linked to our bodies, can feel uncomfortable, even a little scary. But here's the truth: ignoring those smells, pretending they're just normal, brushing them off like nothing's wrong. That silence, it can do more harm than good, because your body, even now after 60, after all it's been through, is still trying to speak to you. Yes, it's easy to feel like aging is a slow unraveling. You notice little changes, a new ache here, a spot there, a smell that wasn't there before. And suddenly you wonder, is this just part of getting older? Or is something wrong? That uncertainty, that not knowing, it's hard. It wears on your mind. It can make you feel invisible, even in a room full of people. But what if, just what if, we flipped the script? What if those changes, those smells, weren't signs of decay, but instead signs of communication? What if your body wasn't betraying you, but reaching out, saying, I need a little help. Please pay attention. Don't give up on me. Because it's not about fear. It's about awareness. It's about stepping into your power with knowledge and realizing that you are not powerless. You can take action. You can stay ahead. You can live the next chapters of your life with dignity, clarity, and strength. So today, just take a moment, look inward, or call someone you love, a parent, a partner, a friend. Ask them how they've been feeling. Ask yourself how you've been feeling. Smell, sight, sensation, they're all clues. And catching something early, that's powerful. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's love, because you deserve to flourish, not fade after 60. You've earned that. Every wrinkle, every silver strand, every story etched into your skin, they're reminders that you're still here and you still have so much life to live. With a little awareness, a little action, and a whole lot of self-compassion, your best years, they're not behind you, they're just ahead. Let's walk into them together. Before we go, let's quickly recap the 5 body odors we talked about and why they matter so much. If you notice musty, old paper-like smell, could be related to oxidative stress or skin changes. Sweet or fruity breath may be a warning of high blood sugar or diabetes. Fishy or ammonia-like scent often points to kidney trouble. Sour or vinegar odor can signal hidden infections in the skin folds. Rotten or decaying smell may be tied to wounds, ulcers, or serious underlying illness. Each of these has one thing in common. Your body is asking for help, and now you know how to listen. So let me ask you, have you ever noticed one of these signs in yourself or someone close to you? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who you might help just by speaking up. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply talk about it. And if this video brought you even a moment of clarity or comfort, hit that like button and consider subscribing to Flourish After 60, where we talk openly, honestly, and with heart about everything that matters in these next chapters of life. You'll get weekly insights that are practical, gentle, and rooted in respect for the journey you're on. Thank you for spending this time with me, for listening, for learning, for caring. Stay strong, stay kind to yourself, and most of all, stay curious about what your body is telling you, because you are not aging alone. You are aging wisely, and I'll see you right here in the next video.